Hey Banditos, welcome to another episode of the Dollar Bin Bandits. I'm Mike Farah, and today we have a great one for you. We have not one, but two bald Mikes talking about comics. That's right, we are welcoming Mike Deodato Jr., or just regular Mike Deodato if you prefer, to the program. And you know Mike from his 30 plus year career in penciling comics. He is just an amazing artist. Started out on Wonder Woman with William Messner Loebs, co-created the character for Artemis. Then he kicked butt over at Image for a while, came to Marvel, did some more work on Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man. Let's see, all kinds of Avengers, including the New Avengers, the Dark Avengers, the Secret Avengers, the Avenger Avengers. And now he is penciling the ongoing Flash series. So let's hear all about it. This is Mike Deodato. We have artist Mike Deodato Jr. with us. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
It's great to have you here. You know, we usually ask our guests about how they first discovered comic books, but in a little bit of the research that I've done, it seems like your father was a comic artist as well. So I
Yes.
assume he had something to do with your discovering comic books.
Yeah. We had lots of comics at home, mostly from his old collections, like in 50s and 40s. So my first comics were those old stuff, like this. I don't know the names in English, but it was those heroes from Prince Ibis. I don't know the names in English, but it was his heroes, and he also an artist too. So me and my brother, usually we asked him to, when he come to from work, oh, can you draw a hero so we can color it? So he would draw a hero from his youth, and he would give you the name and the powers and everything. So I was introduced to the whole constellation of heroes from 40s and 50s. And I started reading actually horror comics from EC, from his collection. So yeah, it was very unusual start.
Do you have any of those old original
Oh
comics?
yeah, I keep them. Very. I kept what I didn't destroy because we did withdraw in the comics and stuff. So they are in very bad condition, but they are mine. So
Doesn't matter what condition, as long as they,
yeah,
bring you
I,
joy.
I used to be a very careful collector when I was a teenager. I used to clean the whole collection once a week and put it back in. But when I became a professional, then they all became just references, just a material to research. So I only take care of my own comics. I keep them clean and in good shape, but the rest are just for me to research.
Oh, well, that's a good way of doing it. As long,
Yeah.
keep your comics nice and pristine. That's the important part, right? So did you know from when you were a kid and reading these comics that this is what you wanted to do professionally, or did that come later?
Yeah, I was 13 when I realized I wanted to be a comic book artist. And because that's when I started trying to draw, and hey, I can draw, I can do that. I start copying. I remember copying stuff from Bruce Manning, Tarzan, and other stuff. And hey, I can do exactly the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And it took, of course, more than 20 years for me to be able to do that, to live from comics. But I always thought that I would be. I had no doubt that I would be someday. I would be an artist. So.
And how did you break into the industry finally after a lot of practice from
Yeah,
age 13?
I had a lot of almost break-ins. Like Of course, I started doing fanzines, independent comics by myself, and publishing in newspapers, local newspapers, doing my own, printing my own comics, selling via mail, and I also did a lot of stuff for Brazil for small publishers, and they paid very very bad, but I had the chance to draw everything. So I drew any kind of stories, horror, science fiction, anything, superheroes. So when it was only in 1991 that um, a studio in São Paulo, it was created to represent Brazilians artists in US. So they contacted me, asked me if I wanted to do something for US. I said yes, and I never stopped. But of course, I started with small publishers too. It was Innovation, Eclipse, a lot of Malibu, a lot of small publishers. They don't exist anymore. But I only had my really shot in 1993, the end of 1993, when I did some samples for Wonder Woman for Paul Kupperberg, and he liked them. And then I started doing Wonder Woman. And then after almost 20 years of career, I was discovered.
Yeah, I
But
wanted to dig into the Wonder Woman work. So you were doing samples specifically for Wonder Woman when you landed the gig?
yeah, because they also represented a friend of mine, Marcelo Campos, and he was doing, I think it was GLA or something like that. And then I was so jealous because I was doing stuff for independent publishers, and hey, I want to do stuff for DC too. I want to, okay, there is Wonder Woman. I want to do Wonder Woman. Yes, of course, I love Wonder Woman. I hated Wonder Woman, but I love Wonder Woman. I want to do it. So I prepared two samples. It was because it was uh, uh, Image comics were starting to begin there, and those digital coloring, amazing. I didn't have any computer, so I did two sample pages using airbrush to imitate those colors, and I did the lettering, everything. It was a beauty. So I sent the 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 samples, and I was hired instantly. So.
And did you know your writing partner when you came in? Were you familiar with Bill Loeb's work?
No idea, no idea. I didn't speak English, so all the contact with editors were made by my agents, and so yeah, I was only focused on work, and I actually worked too much back then, and I ended up hurting my career, but it was fixed later. So.
Well, I'd say, what did you want to bring to Wonder Woman once you got the gig that maybe you hadn't seen before? Was it some of that kind of image energy?
Yeah, because in Brazil, um, uh, the comics published here were in terms of continuity like 10, 15 years in delay.
Yeah.
So we didn't have, when I traveled to US to visit some editors with my agents, then I could see the image stuff, and I was, oh my God, this is amazing, crazy. So I wanted to draw like them. And so yes, I wanted Wonder Woman to look like Image. I wanted that energy, that sex appeal, everything I was in that, the powerful women, everything I wanted the same way, because in my opinion back then, after the Image guys left Marvel, Marvel was only crap. Then there was nothing good except for Adam Kubert or Andy. But for me back then, oh, it's so bad, and DC too. It was too stale, too old-fashioned, and for me, Image was the top of the top. So that's what I wanted for Wonder Woman.
This was an early, one of your earliest mainstream works, and you got to create a lasting character, Artemis. What did you think when Bill brought that character to you? What did you think of the character, and did you know how you wanted to make her look?
Yeah, I didn't remember, but one of these days, Paul Cooperberg, the editor, he published a sketch I did with a turnaround of Artemis, with the clothes should be wearing, but she never used in my run. It was a black suit, very, very nice, but I never had the chance to draw it. And I ended up drawing her in the Wonder Woman costume because she won the contest. And the other outfit was the regular Amazon outfits that so little, very little straps that ended up always in the crack of the butt. And it was fun. People let me do anything I wanted, so it's all my fault.
Well,
Actually, in Brazil, it was 90s, so everything was sexy and exaggerated back then. And it was only 10 years that we came out of a dictatorship in Brazil. It was 20 years of military dictatorship, a lot of censorship. We couldn't see anything, and sex was prohibited. Anything was prohibited. So we had this freedom that we wanted to experiment. And then Wonder Woman was my my way of express that. So.
yeah, that's an interesting context because
Yeah, in Brazil, when at that time, soap operas were showing naked women with the chest, nude chest, riding horses in the soap operas. You could see naked women in commercials. It was crazy. We were very enjoying a lot of our freedom. Now it's normal, but back then.
Well, yeah, after being under the thumb of dictatorship, I can imagine just the exuberance of, being able to do whatever you wanted and sort of taking things over the top, combined with the 90s
we
in general.
Almost got
right?
back to this shit because of the former president Bolsonaro.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We are rid of him. We're in a new era, so all good in Brazil. You can come. Now it's safe.
Maybe I'll come visit.
Yeah.
So after Wonder Woman, you moved primarily to Marvel, I believe, right? With Thor, but then also you did Glory at Extreme Studios, right? These are all between Wonder Woman and Thor and Glory are all sort of these mythological characters, right? From Greek and from Norwegian myth and everything. Was that it? Did that strike you? Was that something you liked, or was it just the kind of the assignments just happened to be all in these mythological areas?
Everything was amazing, was crazy. I was, oh my God, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But I had no time to enjoy because it was like I was thinking I cannot refuse any work because they will never give me more work. So I was accepting everything. And I was working like crazy. I was sleeping 4 hours a day, and I didn't have time to shave or anything. So I didn't do exercises. it was only work, and so yeah, it was amazing, but I couldn't enjoy much. It was only focused on work and producing things, and in the end, I created, by recommended by my agents, I created a studio, a virtual studio, to attend the demand of my name. So Michael at the studio, and but it was bad. It was good. I got a lot of money. I made a lot of money. The artists too, they were hired, they were making money, but it was not good for my reputation because editors never knew if they were getting the real me or if it was somebody um, uh, emulating my style. So it was not good in the end, and I kept working too much, and then at some point my work was so bad. It was so bad. I lost my love for comics. I was
Mm.
working only for the money, and then when my contract with Marvel finished, they didn't want to hire me anymore. And then, oh my God, can you hear the yelling?
No, not very
Oh, okay,
much. I think we can
okay,
keep going.
okay, okay. The kids. So Marvel didn't want to hire me, and then I went back to Valiant, that was fighting for my contract before. They didn't want me too, and then I realized, oh, something is wrong, and then I went to work for Chaos, but I felt that something was wrong. Finally, I realized I was in the wrong direction, so I decided to regroup. Uh, I started learning English. I still don't know how to speak English, but I started.
Oh, you're doing
I
great.
I fired my agents, um, because I decided I would take care of my career. I would work less with more quality, and to rewire my brain. I I I went for old memories of me doing creator-owned comics, the independent comics. I remembered me and my best pal are discussing new stories. Oh, let's do this and the poses and anything. How good it was. How so this emotional memory. I went for it. Oh, that's why I love comics. Then I discovered my love for comics again, and that's it. And then I follow these resolutions for today. I work only uh, one title a month, uh, and not for the money, for the quality. If I want to get more money, it will be for the quality, not for the quantity of work. And all my decisions is for I'm having fun. It's good for my art, so I take the decision, and it's been working so far.
It seems like you've arrived in a more healthy, creative space.
Yeah, and I also I discovered that the time I spend with my family, doing exercises, play music, listen to the music, or watching movies, not a waste of time. I'm recharging. I
Yeah.
can use all of that experience to my art, and I didn't know that back then. I thought, oh, I don't need that. I just need to work, and now I know better. So,
So let's rewind a little or unpack some
uh,
of that a little bit. So you were saying yes to a lot of things, maybe too many things in the like mid 90s. One thing I sort of noticed, and I think maybe other fans have noticed, is that at some point and maybe it was sort of rediscovering your love for comics, your style maybe changed a little bit and became a little bit more what's the right word, mature or nuanced. You were sort of, it seemed like maybe you were taking more time with it. Was there a time period, like, or even an issue or a series where you felt like, okay, here I am now, I feel just comfortable and confident in what I'm doing and my style?
Yes, actually, it was a slow process. Um, After that period, in the end of the nines, I did Xena, the character, and then I had the chance to use photo reference together with I learned from the Image Comics that energy, that action. So I combined my photorealistic style with the energy of the Image Comics, and then that was the beginning of the changing of my style. And then I had the chance to do I think 11-page story for Nightcrawler for Marvel, and I did. That's it. I'm gonna make this the best comic ever because I wanted to recover my place at Marvel. Um, so I took pictures of myself doing the poses with lighting. I put the thing and I took a lot of care with the storytelling. That I finally learned that that the story is more important than I show up with my drawings. I had to serve the story, not the other way around. And then that story, it came out very good, very good. The storytelling, the angles, everything is perfect there. I was trying a new kind of technique. I was doing very, very tight pencils. So it was so tight that you should hold the page, you'd think it was inked. And my intention was to be scanned from the pencils. So
Right.
I sent to the editor, and they had, oh my God, this is crazy, this is amazing. There's only one problem. I cannot use it because I hired an inker. He cannot ink this thing. It's too tight. I will, no problem. Send it to me. It sent me, I put in the lock box and I did everything again, putting X's so the
The
inker could
blanks.
do it. Send it back, and then, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm gonna give you a X-Men title. It's amazing, amazing. And then he was fired. So I had to start again. And then there was this Lisa Hawkins. She was new at Marvel, and she was doing this new book called Witches.
Mhm.
And I was competing with another European guy. I never knew who it was. And I sent samples. I had a computer now, so I did colored samples on computer using a mouse, and then very nice stuff. And then I was hired. Okay, this is great. So I did 2 issues, and it was not published yet. I did 2 issues, and then Bill Jimas saw the script, and, oh, this is crap. We are not gonna publish that. So he closed it. Um, so I had to start again.
Strike two.
Yeah, and then yeah, and then I had the chance to do Tigra because Tom Brevoort saw those pages and was impressed. And then Tigra was another level for me too. Man, it was all Steranko and Pogo Lacy and incredible. The narrative was fantastic. And then because of that, I was invited by Axel Alonso to do the Hulk with Bruce Jones. And there I had my master class in storytelling because 2 masters teaching me without teaching me, just by working with them. Axel Alonso, he's a master. He teaches the writers how to every change he does in the script, oh, let's do this way, you are learning something. And Bruce Jones, oh my God, he's an artist himself. He was, everything he wrote, I just had to draw and it was perfect. Didn't have to change anything. And so I had a lot of care, and I learned a lot about storytelling, and I never forgot so much that I don't think more about storytelling. I just, it goes naturally. If I had to teach about storytelling, I don't know. Just go. I pay attention to other stuff. I can play with um, the layouts and anything that, because the storytelling goes like this.
Oh, that's really great to hear. I mean, what a learning process
Oh,
that you
I had a
went
lot
through.
of, and I remember in the 1995, the poor guy, what's the name? It was former Marvel editor Bob Harris. He talking to me, actually talked to my agent, and my agent talked to me in English, translating,
Right.
trying to teach me about storytelling, that I shouldn't do like the image stuff, big splash, and I was not listening. I'm not gonna do it.
Right.
So I was not ready to learn back
You
then.
finally came back to it.
Yeah. It was like after 40s, I was okay. Oh, what else? I'm a late learner, so
Yeah, I think everybody sort of settles down and becomes maybe a little less stubborn or in their own, head, and is open
yeah,
to learning, new things
yeah.
and
It was
changing.
like this. Oh my God, it's obvious, so obvious that the most important is the story, of course. But back then I couldn't hear. There was a lot of image noise.
Right, right. So you end up working quite a bit for Marvel, and on big characters like Hulk and Spider-Man and New Avengers.
24 years.
Yeah, I mean, amazing, and some really big runs of comics there.
Yeah.
When you were going from one book to another, did you feel like you had to sort of adapt how you were doing your storytelling, or the sort of to fit the tone of a certain book or a certain character?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I see if a story, I think, okay, this story needs a very straightforward storytelling, one panel after another. I think it will work better for the theme, the story, the characters. It will be better. Sometimes, oh no, this one I want to go crazy. I want to do crazy layouts and stuff, and but that was it. My actual style, how to draw the things, I never adapted unless it's for not comics, for something like a
Right. Different.
advertising. But comics, no, unless it was like I did once a piece for Brian Bendis with baby Captain America fighting baby, so it was cartoony.
Right. Yeah.
I remember I did a one page for Captain America, all like in the uh, 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 yeah, all cartoony too. So it depends on the page, but the general rule, I never change my style of drawing to more light or less shadow. It's all what I want to do. So they pick me for the books they think it will fit, and yeah, basically that's it. I don't and in my style, once somebody at Marvel asked me, can you do this cover in the 90s style? I can't because it would be too much work to try to go back. I can't. It's just like I can't. It would be too hard for me. So this evolution of style of me drawing things and people, and it's something very natural. It happens me without knowing. Sometimes I like to go back, look what I was doing. Oh, back then it was working, and then I try to to bring it back. Sometimes I ask people I trust if I'm going the right, diverging, I'm going the wrong direction, exaggerating something, or just like that. I just small corrections, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I I'm proud of having this vision of everything in my career, in my style. But I do not try to, okay, I'm gonna draw this style because I want to, because of that. When I changed to image style, it was because I was in love with them. So it's the same thing. When I see something I love, oh my God, I want to do that. I finally met the art of Eduardo Risso. Oh my God, it was mind blowing, because you see, I studied Neil Adams for years. Is is in my DNA. I know everything he can do. I cracked his code, although I will never be a Neil Adams, but I know how to do. But Eduardo Risso, I gave up. I quit because it's too much information, um, too much graphic solutions. It's so good. The chiaroscuro, the empty spaces. It's too much, too much. But so I grabbed what I could and I left. And there is a lot of things that I learned from him that I still use it. And then other guys, if I see something I like, usually it's not more about the feathering or the how to shade, because it's already imprinted in my blood by Starenko, by Neil Adams, Frank Frazetta, by other stuff that I don't master yet. Like for instance, when I saw that Superman, what's the name? It was I forgot the name of the Star
All-Star Superman?
All-Star Superman, Frank Whiteley.
Frank Whitley, yeah.
Frank Whiteley. Oh my God! And I saw that story of the dogs, the W3, I think.
Yeah, we
You know what I mean? It's an album about, I think, dogs like robots. W3. I don't remember. It's amazing. It's amazing. The storytelling, everything. And then I saw, oh my God, this is amazing. So I start to pay attention. I'm not, his style is very different from mine. His weird figures, very almost like alien people. But the storytelling, the negative space, and the body language, oh my God, you can see in the very small Superman, you can tell if he's sad, if he's upset, if he's happy, all because of the shoulders and anything. So I start, okay, this is so important. It's obvious, but I'm a late learner. So then I start, oh my God, I have to pay attention to every panel when I position the pose of the character. It's so important to tell what he's thinking and anything. And so I keep learning when I saw something good, and oh my God, I had to learn. So I have to pay attention to this. I remember the day I started taking responsibility for my duties as a comic book artist was when I did an Ultimates annual for Marvel. There was a sequence that I saw there was a gap in a page to another. I think it was too sudden. The change of action. There should be another one or two panels there to make the bridge, and I just didn't care. I just, okay, it's probably in the writing, he's gonna fix that, and I did. And when I saw it printed, it wasn't. And then, oh my God, it was my fault. It's my fault. I'm the creator too. That's my everything visually is my contribution to the story. So if in general, usually the writer doesn't do that. He doesn't describe the bedroom of the character in all the details. He leaves it to me, and it's my duty to put things there that will build the personality of the character and the mannerism, the way he does that, or the constant way he's, I don't know, scratches his these little things will build the character too, not only the story. And that's me. That's the artist's duty to do that. And now I know. It took time for me because in a book, in a real book, the writer will describe everything so you can immerse in the story. He will describe it, and he enters in the room and there is this and this and this and this and this and this. Not in comics, the writer just did, he's in the room and that's it. The dialogue, all the rest goes to me, goes to the artist. And now I know. Now I do that. I pay attention.
Yeah, you're in a collaborative relationship with the writer.
Yeah, yeah.
And that actually goes to another question, which it seems like a lot of maybe your early work and maybe your work now, you communicated mostly with the editor. Did you have a lot of or any sort of direct sort of communication with writers over the years?
Yeah, it's just a few. Not only because I'm a foreigner, but because I'm shy. I'm not. There was a time I thought, okay, I'm gonna move to US. I'm gonna learn, speak very well English, and I'm gonna give more interviews and give more opinions and be more famous. But it's not, doesn't happen. I don't do that in Brazilian social media because that's not me. I'm not the guy that goes in Twitter, hey guys, what do you think of? I don't do that. I'm afraid that nobody's gonna respond there. So I'm not like this. So I'm shy. So the very few I connect with were Brian Bandits, very few. Jeff Lemire. I felt that connection instantly, and then, but even that, it's very little. And I never had more than. And Axel Alonso. Axel Alonso, I consider a friend too. So, but it's hard for me, but it works anyway because I know my what I'm doing. They know what they are doing, and then I like when nobody try to tell me how to draw, and I think they don't like if I tell them how to write. So that's a good deal.
So you can still have a good working relationship, even if there's not necessarily communication. It's just how they present their ideas to you and giving you the freedom to interpret them and contribute.
Freedom is so important to me. It's if an editor or writer start trying to tell me how to draw, oh, why don't you do that this way? I don't do because I know what I'm doing. Stop bothering me because it doesn't work this way. I know what I'm doing. My whole life, nobody tried to teach me because they know it's gonna be okay. They have to worry about other books. Leave me alone, and I don't care. Nobody gets hurt.
I wanted to ask you about a couple of specific projects. One is Original Sin, which is, the first, well, I don't know if it was your first, I think it was your first big kind of crossover book, even though you were already working on a lot of these characters in Avengers, right? but did you like that experience, and do you like in general working on projects that have a lot of characters, or is your preference to have more of the smaller cast?
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. I hate big events, and I hate groups. I like drawing Wolverine in the desert fighting a werewolf. That's
Okay.
in a ghost town. That's what I like it. But yeah, every project I get, especially at Marvel, because I was exclusive. So I thought, okay, I had to do what they want to do. I had to do what they think I'm best for the company, and so I adapted. If I don't like an event, but the story was great. The original scene was actually a very contained event. It was very different. It was more like a crime noir type of story. And so it was very similar to what I like to draw. So it was different and good. But Infinity Wars, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That, but I find a way to enjoy it because, okay, now I'm drawing Warlock and Hulk and Loki and everything. And there's this scene and then another, and the story is great. So yeah, so I always find a way to have fun. Yeah.
Another one from kind of left field here, but I noticed it on your bibliography and I had to ask about it, was Lady Death versus Vampirella.
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh, it when I went to work to Chaos, I was excited because first it was crazy. The stories were crazy. I could draw everything I wanted. There was blood and battles in horses and flying horses and demons. It was great to draw. This story was not too good. It was kind of strange, but to draw was amazing. In the colors, it was great coloring. So it was fun. It was fun. But I was still working too much back then. I didn't had that thing that I knew I was doing wrong. So I kept doing the same thing, working too much, and it was interesting, very energetic, and but I was not in a good shape.
Yeah, it was during that period. I thought it might be during that period, and I didn't want to
But it
press
was
too
fun
much,
to
but it was
draw.
just too crazy a project not to ask about.
Draw horses hiding in the sky and flames and castles. Oh, it was great, and monsters. Oh,
Yeah. So back to Marvel. Another one I wanted to ask about is Astonishing X-Men, because up
oh,
until that point you'd been primarily, if there are sides of Marvel, you were more on the Avengers side and not doing much with the mutants. Was that on purpose, or did you always want to get to, more X-Men stuff?
yeah. I didn't. There are several characters I didn't know I loved them till I draw them. When I drew the thing for the first time, oh my God, I love the thing. It's so great. So when I drew some of the X-Men in some pages and then some covers, oh my God, I like drawing them too. And that book, it was so good, so good. I think it's one of my highest point at Marvel. The coloring by Frank Martin, the layouts, everything's so beautiful, so beautiful. I love that. And yeah, I had the chance to draw also X-Men against the Dark Avengers. It was crazy too. So yeah, I I wish I had the chance to do a run on X-Men back then too. Yeah.
And another one I wanted to ask you about, which is somewhat more recent, which is the series you created with J. Michael Straczynski called The Resistance.
So that, yeah, that
How did?
was after I left Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
in 2019. I was, I wanted to do creator owned. I thought it was time. 24 years at Marvel, and I tried to do Berserker Bound while I was at Marvel. I discovered the worst way that it is impossible. A writer can do 10 books a month. An artist, you can barely do one book a month. So I tried to do Berserker Bound while I was doing stuff for Marvel, and I almost died because it's too much work. And then I decided, okay, it is time for me to decide. So I left Marvel and I decided to go doing only creator owned. So Axel Alonso created this new company, AWA Studios. He heard that I was leaving Marvel, so he invited me to be there. So I did a lot of books for them. The most recent one was Red Zone, and this one, The Resistance, was we and Stravinsky, we created the universe for AWA Studios, the hero universe, the continuity connected universe. And it was great. It was great. It was different because there was no continuity. I didn't have to have a reference. I created everything from scratch. And it was Stravinsky. I used to work with him on Spider-Man. I did Dream Police too. So he's an amazing writer, and it was amazing, a great experience. And from there, I've been done. After that, I did Bad Mother, and then I did Not All Robots that I got in Eisner. I did oh my God, so many books. I did a lot of books there. The Fourth Man, Redemption, everything creator owned. So if a movie is made out of that, I won't see not only my my name in the credits, but I'll see a big check. So it's a very good difference. And that's it. And only this year I decided to come back to do some heroes for DC because I miss them. But next year I'm back to AWA doing creator owned again.
Oh, good. I mean, that sounds good. It sounds like you're enjoying the creator-owned stuff.
Man, it's so good. I love superheroes. They are from my childhood. So much that I'm doing superheroes now. I'm loving doing Flash. It's great. Loving doing every cover I do for DC and Superman and Green Lantern. Oh my God, I'm doing Green Lantern. Oh my God, I'm doing so great. But there is nothing like in doing your own stuff, like creating your own stuff. It's different. It's like playing with the toys of the other kids and having your own toys.
Right.
You like your toys more.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Before we wrap up, I have a couple more questions. One was, you just referred to it as, doing covers. Do you, and I think I know the answer to this, but do you prefer to do covers or interior work, or are they just kind of different muscles that you like to stretch?
No, I love both. I love doing covers, but there is nothing like drawing interiors. It's I want to do comics. So comics is not only covers, it's comics. Is the pages, the story. Of course, there are parts that are boring. You have to build the whole suspense and doing that stuff. But you know that's gonna be great in the end. You are building something that you're gonna explode there in the next page. It's amazing. There is nothing like, I want to do comics for life. I don't want to do even if they offer more. I have done covers for albums. I have done what's the name, that thing you do for movies? It's like comics. It's storyboards.
Storyboards, yeah.
Right. I have done a lot of things, advertising that pay much more than comics, but I love comics. I want to do comics. I don't want to do any other stuff. And covers, I like it, but if I had to choose, no, I prefer doing one.
The storytelling. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot more fulfilling. Um, I like to ask these questions, especially of those writers and artists that have long bibliographies and large careers. Is there a work that you think is maybe a little bit overlooked that you don't get asked about, but you're particularly proud of that you think should get more attention from your past?
Um, yes, there is. It's so little attention because it wasn't published in the US, only in Brazil.
Okay.
It's gonna be published in a few months or next month. And it's gonna be called Frames in US. There's gonna be a Kickstarter about it. It was published in Brazil. The name was Panels, like panels,
Right.
and it's 15 short stories I did. I did the story, the colors, the lettering, everything. And it's so personal, and in my opinion, it's so good, and nobody paid attention. I thought I was going to revolutionize the world, and nobody paid attention. It's so good. I experimented with formats. There are pages that you this unfold like this, and there is a story called Vicious Circle about a junkie that started. It's rounded. The panels go like this, and you can start from any panel, and it's all a circle. You can start and you can keep reading. I did some great stuff there, but nobody saw it. So I hope now people can see when it's published.
Oh, well, there's a second chance now for
Yeah,
everybody to check it out.
I
So
hope so. I don't know if the translation, I hope so, but I'm so proud of that. I know I can write. I cannot write a very lengthy story,
right.
but short stories I can do that, and I think they're very good. This book, yeah.
Right. Well, we'll look forward to that. Similarly, what else is on the horizon for you that fans can look for in the near future?
Okay, besides Flash in September, number one, working with Cy Spurrier,
Mhm.
very great and crazy writer. Oh my God, so good. And Flash is, when I was a kid, when I was afraid of monsters, I used to think, oh my God, I hope Captain America can beat the shit off of this werewolf or stuff. So I always liked superheroes mixed with monsters, and that's what we are doing, bringing horror to Flash. So fun, so good, and yeah, I just finished doing Red Zone with Cullen Bunn for
Mhm.
AWA Studios. The trade paperback is I think next month. Very great story about espionage, and yeah, and I have a secret project to do at AWA Studios. I cannot reveal now,
Okay. We get that a
but
lot.
yeah, and I don't know. Right now, I'm doing everything. I have done covers for Spawn, a lot of covers for DC, for a small publisher. I did even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles covers,
Mhm.
and so they're gonna pop up any minute. And maybe I'm like to experiment everything. Maybe I'll do some Conan covers. I don't know. I'm
You'll be
trying to.
out there.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm up doing anything. Bring it, bring it up.
And welcome back, Banditos. How'd you like that episode of the Dollar Bin Bandits? I love talking to Mike. He was very personable, of course, and introspective and thoughtful. And you can tell that he loves comics and he just wants to do a better and better job for fans. And he's doing that. He's just kicking butt, as we said. So hope you enjoyed the discussion. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for rating. Thank you for reviewing. Thank you for doing all that stuff that helps grow this podcast. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next issue. Peace.